What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Level 1 podcast. I'm back, and it's time to start with a renewed feeling this week. I know that there was no podcast yesterday, so today we're going to make up for it. Today, we are going to get all caught up on everything going on, including how did the 5 nights at Freddy's Torture-thon go back on Monday? How has everything else been going? Where are we with our goals? How is everything with the content? What's coming up later this week? There's a lot to talk about, okay? There really is. A lot of people are asking questions. So I'm going to answer those questions to the best of my ability on today's show. In addition, we've got a big news story regarding Ubisoft under fire by its own shareholders for its ineptitude as a game development company. Ouch. It's not just the gamers saying it anymore. So we've got a good amount to talk about today. It's going to be a long one, a fun one, an informative one, but it's going to be a good one. So sit back and relax. It is time for another episode of the Level 1 podcast.
Get ready for some meaningful content, because the king is back, the king of the live stream, the king is back. Woo!
Alrighty, folks. Well, welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of March, 2025. It's weird to say that. No, it really is. Like, it doesn't feel like Wednesday to me. This week has kind of been a blur. A lot of stuff going on, both public-facing and private, which is why everything is kind of thrown out of a loop. It's one of the reasons why there was no podcast yesterday. So basically, yeah, I get it. Like a lot of you yesterday were incredibly confused, scratching your heads, wondering what the heck was going on, because a lot of people said, Phil, you seem out of sorts. You seem like you're not yourself. You know, what's going on? And I basically just kind of pushed forward and did my day of streaming, and didn't really care to address it. But today I will, to some extent, again, to the best that I can, because as I keep telling you guys, this stuff that's going on really isn't anything that's public facing nor stuff that you should know about. Everyone has a private life. The problem is I'm a guy who's literally on stream 6 days a week, all day long, and it comes through. You know, I'm not one of these fake people who's putting on this crazy mask or front. You know, when you see me on stream, usually you see me in my mood or whatever is going on. And, you know, this week has been really, really hard, with a lot of stuff going on that I'm just not going to talk about publicly. All right. But it affects these streams in a big way when you see me not acting right, when I'm changing the schedule around and everything. Yeah, it sucks. So here's the thing. It's like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Okay. And you might say, well, what does that mean? If I had never said a thing that I was going through anything personal right now, okay, and then all of a sudden on a stream I explode and I'm pissed, or I put out a whole stream where I'm sounding like an asshole or whatever, but I haven't explained that this is very much because of stuff behind the scenes and not you guys or anything public facing, you know, that might actually hurt someone. That might actually like upset someone. So I feel it's my responsibility as a creator that every day I'm going to be on this stream that I at least tell you if there's something else going on. So then you can be like, oh, I get it. So Phil's really in a bad mood and that's why he's acting like this, you know, and particularly this last week and a half, 2 weeks has been really bad. Okay. So I just see that it's the right thing to do. If I had completely told you all of my business top to bottom, now that's oversharing. When you guys come to my streams, correct, you want to unplug. You're here to chill. You're here to have a good time. You're here to have a nice podcast and we have some conversation, hear about game news. Then you want to see me jump into a game during the gameplay session and you know, have a hangout session if it's a chill game, or a more intense session if it's a multiplayer game. But in general, you're not here to get wrapped up in the sorrows and the problems of others. You have your own. You don't want to come here and hear a sob story, and I get that. That is definitely something that over the years I have learned from and changed for the better, despite the fact that people on the internet act like everything is universal and can never be changed. I'm sorry, I absolutely have done my best to change for the better and not turn this into the woe is me, feel bad for Phil stream. Okay? So it sucks because it's a tough line to dance on. You'll want to tell everyone what's going on, but you really shouldn't and can't. But at the same time, if you don't mention anything, now definitely people are going to be upset with you if your behavior is different, right? So it is what it is. And that's the thing. People will always speculate about stuff and they can't. I've heard everything this week. I've heard that Jasper Kitty was sick or injured. I've heard that my wife is getting divorcing me. You know, taxes are bad this year and they're going to repossess my house, all kinds of dumb shit. Of course, zero, reality to any of that. They're just morons making stuff up constantly like they always do. So it's this simple. All right. There's stuff going on. You don't need to know about it, but it is affecting my content and there's nothing I can do about that either. And I'm sorry for that. But I hope that you would understand and hopefully you're still enjoying the content despite the fact that it is being affected. Okay? And then, and the thing is, of course, like they say, when it rains, it pours. It can't just be one thing, then another thing has to happen, then some drama has to happen, then some bullshit has to happen. That's the worst possible timing, and it's like, it all compounds. So not only do I have this shit going on in my life, but then I got to hear about, did you hear about this drama, that drama, this drama? I could give two fucks about it. I've got real shit going on. I don't have to worry about your internet bullshit. Really, it's just so stupid. Why the fuck would I care about all this nonsense you're bringing to my table when I have this immediate heavy shit going on? But then again, I guess if you live in a fantasy world where you think everything is based around stuff on the internet 24/7, you actually think that kind of stuff is more than trivial, and when it's really not. So anyway, with all this stuff going on, all right, what I'd like to do is get you guys caught up on everything because I do feel like now we're lagging behind. Like today I woke up and I was like, all right, let's get back into the rhythm of things. Wait, it's Wednesday? It's freaking Wednesday? I feel like the week just started. I really do. Like, I feel like we just began. And like, it's Wednesday. Holy shit. So stuff's been going crazy, right? And in that regard, we do need to get back on track because when everything is kind of derailed and going all over the place, it's definitely hard to try to maintain the right course and not get confused. And you know me, I'm the kind of guy, I've got that mind. I like to plan everything. I want to have my schedule laid out, and this is exactly how we're doing stuff each day, and we're going to tackle this and tackle that. And I realize to some extent you can't always have everything pre-planned, right? It's true. But I'm the kind of guy that I have that kind of analytical mind, and I want to have everything laid out. So we're going to talk about that today because things have changed in the schedule a few times already. I want to talk about Monday's marathon because the Five Nights at Freddy's event, I feel, went really, really well. Was eye-opening for many different reasons, in my opinion. And I basically want to talk about the results of it and what's going to come of it because some things might actually come of it, which is great. So let's see. Let's cover all this. Basically, we got to talk about everything, right? I'm going to tell you why we didn't do a podcast yesterday. I want to just cover everything. So, all right. So all that being said, okay, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Let's kind of jump back in time a couple of days and let's talk about everything going on so that we can get caught up. So let's fast forward back to Sunday, okay? Because on Sunday, something really weird happened, okay? We were at, if you remember, 46 out of 50 goals hit. And when we hit 50 goals, we were going to unlock the Five Nights at Freddy's Torture-thon whenever it may be. I didn't think we were going to be doing it Monday. I told you guys we weren't going to do it Tuesday because Smart Guys was scheduled for Tuesday night so that if we didn't do it Monday, we would do it Wednesday, and that was fine. But I said, hey, there's always a weird chance that maybe there'll be a rallying of support. And out of nowhere, right, we would hit these goals, 4 goals in one day. And then boom, we would do the marathon on Monday, which would work fine. I was ready for it, right? I said, we'll have food planned with my wife and I'll get the games installed. We'll get it all done. And then out of nowhere on Sunday, there was this crazy rallying of support, okay, which I was not expecting. On the Suikoden stream, we actually hit the goal. It's 2 Suikoden streams in a row. We've hit a funding or a support goal, which is wild because it's a JRPG. And the fact that we're getting support for a JRPG is crazy, but we are, okay? And then on the late stream of Avowed, while we were open world roaming the final areas of the first map and just having a good time chilling and exploring and questing, boom, explosion of support. Now, there was all this confusion because it was these accounts who no one really knew. Ken, what was the other one? There was 2 accounts. And they were both, Sanitarium, right? These 2 accounts just start dropping big contributions out of nowhere. And everyone's like, this is really suspect because in the last week, we had multiple nights where there were fake contributions. And what I mean by saying fake, I mean people using a stupid VPN to change their IP address to make it look like they're in another country and buy a bunch of memberships for pennies. So throwing 50 to 100 memberships at the channel at a time, and I'm making 2 cents on it. So really, they don't have any value, right? So when we're trying to count, are these real contributions or not? You get suspect when there's people you never really seen. These aren't regulars. These are people I've never heard of before, but they're showing up and they just start contributing and they're gifting memberships and super chatting. It's going crazy, right? So after much skepticism, we did count all those contributions on Sunday and boom, we hit all of our goals and unlocked the 5 Nights at Freddy's Torture-thon on Monday. Okay? And so on Monday, it was a crazy day. First of all, one of the longest marathons I've ever done. I was here from 11 in the morning till past 9 at night. So almost 10, 11 straight hours of streaming with very few breaks in between. It was pretty crazy. In my opinion, it was pretty crazy that I played so many 5 Nights at Freddy's games in one sitting. Normally, I wouldn't do something like that. So that was really kind of an unprecedented thing. I had 5 different games back to back to back. It was the first time I ever gave them a serious look because previously I just played them casually or saw people play them. In this case, finally, me focusing on them and trying them out and giving them a fair shake, right, was something that was unique and different. And there goes my camera. Unique and different and interesting. Yeah, I'm still having problems with these cameras, and I don't know what to do about it. So I plugged both cameras into the motherboard. They're still turning off. It doesn't matter if I plug them into the USB hubs or the motherboard or the front ports. They still turn off. There doesn't seem to be a way around it. I just, I've tried. I updated, like I told you guys yesterday, I updated the firmware for them. I opened up the app. Oh, their firmware update. There's no firmware update. I did it yesterday, but it claims there still is, meaning the firmware for the cameras doesn't even save. It's all screwed up. It's all kinds of screwed up. Okay. Let me see if I can get this camera working again. Hold on. So I hate to say it, despite the best intentions of that person who 2 days ago wrote me that email trying to help me, at this point, I do actually believe that it's my motherboard that's the problem. I do. I think my motherboard is just a piece of garbage and just turns the things off randomly for no good reason. No rhyme or reason. It shouldn't, but it is doing that because it sucks. I don't know what else to say. I just think the motherboard is trash. And I think we're going to keep dealing with this. And there's going to be entire weeks where things work fine with no issue whatsoever. And then there's actually going to be times when nothing will work and the cameras will turn off. And I just got to deal with it because I'm not buying a whole new PC. I don't have the ability to replace the motherboard myself. There's really nowhere reliable around here to do it. There's one local PC shop around here. And I don't think that they're going to do it in any kind of a timely manner and not rip me off. So I guess I just got to kind of put up with it for now. No rhyme or reason for it. And by the way, it's not always the same camera. Sometimes it's this camera, sometimes it's this camera, sometimes it's both cameras. So obviously the camera's not overheating. I just turned my setup on. So how could it be that the camera overheated? It's not that. It's the motherboard's trash. Well, whatever. At least it's a quick reset. Hopefully it doesn't keep turning off during the show today. I switched ports. I went from the motherboard direct port back to the front USB port. I used it like this for ages and it wasn't having much issue, so hopefully it'll keep working today. I don't know. All right, anyway. So back on track. With the Five Nights at Freddy's Marathon, previously I had never really given a lot of time to these games, and this is a unique opportunity for me to actually try these out in a row and to see the evolution of the series and how it had adjusted and changed over time, but also to give it a fair shake because I had never had, similar to Minecraft back in the day that I just crapped on it constantly, okay? Now, obviously, I want you to watch the videos. I played all day. I mean, it's a good, 7-8 hours of gameplay plus vlogging and stuff that I did about it. And there is a final video that I did at the end where not only did I give my final thoughts, but people started hitting me with so many contributions, I got, shit-faced drunk at the end. But then I turned the stream off, luckily, because, man, I was sloppy drunk, okay? But in a nutshell, let me summarize. Five Nights at Freddy's is not bad, okay? In fact, if you look at the first 5 games, they're all cheap. I think the most expensive one is $8, right? They're just a few bucks each. They're not meant to be giant AAA overblown game experiences. They're meant to be little short jump scare simulators. Each one has a little bit of a different spin. If you want my honest opinion, I actually think that the first one is the best. And then each one after tries to do a unique spin or take, but I think the first one kind of did it the best and laid the groundwork, while the ones after it, hit or miss. 2, I think, got too complicated. 3 is just bad. It really is. 3 is just stupidly bad the way that they laid it out with only one killer, and it's just really stupid. 4 doesn't even feel like Five Nights at Freddy's because the way they laid it out, you're in a bedroom, right? But it has this unique audio factor to it that I actually liked a lot. Having the headphones on and hearing the audio cues was actually really well done. And then 5 is a crazy lore fest where the game is building this world and all this lore and excitement. Wow, this is interesting. It's like they're taking it seriously now. So overall, even though I thought I was going to go into it and absolutely hate everything, I thought it was actually a really great marathon. I went into it with this one expectation. I came out the other end kind of with a knowledge of the games. And in a nutshell, here's my feeling about Five Nights at Freddy's. It is a unique series that has merit. It is insanely overblown, overhyped, and overpopular. It doesn't really need to be as talked about and as popular as it is, but internet content creators decided to try to blow this game up for personal gain and succeeded with it. There is absolutely nothing that needs tons of time to be focused on in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. It's not even meant to be like that, but then content creators made it like that. So what did they do? They started changing the series to cater to the content creators to keep that popularity rolling. And so by the time you play 5, you're like, wow, 5 actually is a much better designed game with better lore, but is this really what it was intended to be? Probably not. Do you really think the creator thought that this is what the series would be? This is probably just a hobby or a side thing for a few bucks, hoping a few people would play it. And then internet creators, streamers, and lore streamers decided to blow it out of context and blow it out of proportion. But after having played all 5 games, I actually don't fault the creator of the game at all for what happened. I don't think that it's his name, Scott. I don't think it's his issue. I don't think he intended that. I don't think he's even part of it. It just kind of happened around him and he just rode the wave. And I can't blame him for that at all. Really. I actually think that after having played all of them, I enjoyed myself. And I've said I would consider going back and playing 1 again. I would consider going back and probably playing 5 again. Those 2 were the ones, the originator and the one that had a lot of lore and was building. Those 2 are probably the most interesting to me that I would consider going back and playing again. And then people had actually said, well, would you go back and play more? Because they had more games after that. That's a maybe. I would like to go back and maybe beat 1 and then maybe play through 5, and then after that, make that determination. Would I want to go play, what was it? Control breach or security breach? Security breach, right? So would I want to play that? It's a maybe, you know? So, I was actually blown away, quite frankly. I came out of that marathon feeling completely different than how I thought I would. But again, it seems like history's repeating itself, because isn't that exactly what happened with Minecraft back in the day? Where I crapped on it, crapped on it, crapped on it, but then when I actually gave it a fair shot, I walked out of there saying, whoa, this actually wasn't half bad. This was actually pretty good. And then I ended up doing a giant series of content on Minecraft that was really popular and everyone liked it. So who knows? Maybe that will happen again with Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe I'll play 1 and 5 again and beat them and like them. And people will ask me to play future ones or the ones I missed and the new ones. And maybe I'll end up making content on them, right? I don't know. But to be honest, do I really think that there needs to be a movie? No. I can't imagine what the movie's about or why there's a movie. That it just seems really silly to me that there is one. Jasper Kitty in the house, by the way. Everyone say hello to Jasper Kitty. Ready for the Jasper Cam? Jasper Cam. Here we go. I like having this camera so you can see him up close better. Jasper, look up here. Look over here. You won't look over there. Okay. There you go. Falcule says, I'm close to correct. It blew up way beyond any kind of expectations. The lore was developed later, and the developer incorporated fan theories into the lore. There you go. Well, see, I'm glad to understand it now, finally. Because ignorance, some people say ignorance is bliss. For me, ignorance is just like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm stupid because I formulate these opinions based on half-truths and bullshit, and then when I finally look into stuff and I see the truth of it, I'm like, oh, it's not nearly as bad as I thought. It's happened with Minecraft, and it happened with Five Nights, and probably this will happen with other games and franchises in the future as well. Much like how everyone on the internet hates me because of the stuff that everyone says, misconceptions and nonsense. And then when they actually come to my streams and they check them out, they're like, oh, it's not nearly as bad as everyone makes it out to be. It's actually pretty good content, and I like it, and I'll hang out with Phil. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. So I really liked the marathon. Now, let's talk about the other half of the marathon, which was the support. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, outside of like way back in the day, we're talking many years ago and times when they were going really badly. All right. And I wasn't doing well financially. And basically, essentially, hold on, I'm getting distracted by Jasper and losing my train of thought. Besides the days back in the day when things were going bad for me and I would do like a marathon, oh, I have $1,000 goal and I really need your help to pay my bills and stuff like that. Those days are in the past. All right. I'm embarrassed that I used to do that kind of stuff. Back then, I used to have some bank on a stream. Like I had streams where people would give $2,000 tips, okay, which is insane. To even think that in the modern day, that's never going to happen again, right? But Monday's stream, basically, here's what happened, okay? The first half of the stream, we had people coming by and supporting, and we had a good amount of support. We did. It was probably like $500-$600 in the first half of the stream. And then it died out and froze. And I was like, well, it is what it is. If we don't get anything else by the end of the stream, it's still a good stream. I'm not upset. Hit multiple goals. This is great. And then all of a sudden, in the last like hour and a half, the last 90 minutes, so I was playing Five Nights 5, which is what, Sister Location. And then I was doing like my final thoughts. All of a sudden, some people start showing up and they start supporting huge. We're talking giant super chats, tons of gifted memberships, all right? So again, you got to be skeptical if it's all real or not. But I gave the benefit of the doubt, and I counted it all. And by the end of the marathon, I don't even know how much I made. I'm going to be honest, because people got me so drunk. Remember, I said I'm going to take a shot every $100. By the end of the marathon, within like an hour, we went from $600 of support to over $1,200. So I'm like chugging shots, and it's all hitting me. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to finish this marathon, because if not, I might, pass out at this rate. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. So I basically, had to quick and end it. I legit don't know how much like I made at all. I have no idea. I'm completely lost. All right. So anyway, Um, all that being said, ended the marathon. Yes, I was drunk at that point. Luckily, I was able to sober up and everything and spend some time with my wife before I passed out. Um, but it was absolutely wild. All that happened. Okay. Now, you might say, well, Phil, was it all real? Okay. Well, let me put it this way. For the most part, it seems like yes. It does seem like some of the stuff was fake because I looked at my kind of analytics. You get them after a day or two. And it basically says that on that stream, I think I made like $800. Now, we were counting and it said I made over 1,200. See? So something doesn't jive there. So what was fake? What was real? I don't know. Could it be? I know I didn't make like over $400 in tips that day. We did make some tips, but not that much. So basically, yeah, it's like I really don't know what what was real and what wasn't. I legit don't even know who was legit. Like someone was giving fake stuff, but who was it? I don't know. There was a bunch of people at the end of the stream who were all contributing at once in one big group. So it's hard to tell, like, was one person legit or more? I don't know. Okay. Also, there was that Avowed stream the night before. And I looked into that. And from what I could see, I think that was all legit. That Avowed stream. So all that stuff that came in on the Avowed stream seems legit. So basically, yeah, it all looks like it was pretty good and it's going to help out in the long term. Okay. And that's a good thing. So thanks to everyone who did show up, support that marathon. It was amazing. All right. It will help. I mean, I wasn't expecting to do a marathon that was essentially twice as good as a normal marathon that I would really do. It was out of nowhere. And really, I'm very appreciative of that. That will help a lot. Okay. Now, that was Monday. Okay. So let's talk about yesterday. All right. You may have noticed yesterday was a very different kind of day. There was no podcast. It was pretty much pure gameplay. All right. What was it? It was a giant stream of Black Ops 6 Ninja Turtles gameplay, trying to unlock the remaining content in that battle pass before it ran out because it was scheduled to run out tomorrow, and I knew I wasn't going to play it again today. And also it was a nice indie game night. All right, which was very fun. So we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that in a second. I want to do a couple shout outs. All right. So let's do a couple shout outs and then we'll get to this. So first of all, Iron Chef Sucks Guys did a $5 super chat, and I appreciate that. Iron Chef Sucks Guys was the first super chatter of the day. By the way, quick question. What color are you guys seeing this text as? Does it show to you as like an orangish yellow on top and red on the bottom? The reason I ask is this is weird. I've been trying different text, different gradients and stuff, and yellow orange. Okay. Because I actually selected like almost a neon green and red, but it's showing yellow to red, yellow into orange. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know why it's doing that because I selected like a green. I'm looking at it right now. It looks green, but it's yellow instead. Maybe it's combining the colors with the gradient. I still think it looks fine, right? So I'm just going to leave it. Okay. I'm not going blind. It is yellow into orangish red. Okay. Good. All right. So thank you, Iron Chef Sucks, guys. And then he tried to start drama, and I'm not going to start drama today. So thanks for that. A couple quick ticks came in. Let's shout out these tips. Hold on. Stretch this out a bit. There we go. So I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. Our first tip today is a $5 tip from Super Snow Crawl Turbo HD Remix. And we're going to read the message in a sec. Let me get it on the leaderboard. Okay. What a name. He says, I thought that you were maybe being paranoid about haters, but after finding out what's happened to a Japanese streamer, was an IRL streamer. Some hater of hers took her life yesterday. Wow. Having seen that, I see why you're paranoid about your biggest haters. Well, you have to understand something, okay? We are currently in what I would consider the formative phase of internet content creation, okay? We are at a very early stage, okay? I've only been doing this for 14 years as a job, okay? And made a full-time living doing it. So you could argue that maybe you could have done content creation as a job for around 15 years at this point. That's like it. I mean, that's super early. Do you understand? Super early. What's happening is the content creation is rocketing past levels of control, sanity, and safeness, safety. That's what I'm looking for. The word safety. Sadly, all right, we are at a situation where there is really no one monitoring content, behavior, social interactions, and all of this stuff on the internet. No one. And people are constantly pushing the boundaries, constantly doing things that you would consider more risque. Is this acceptable? Is this not acceptable? Right? What's entertainment and what's not? At what point has it gone too far? And I feel like at this point, we do have people who are constantly pushing those boundaries. And some people are wise enough to say, okay, I get it. It's content on the internet. It's just meant to be silly fun. It's not meant to be taken seriously. This is not, you know, a complete serious matter. There might be some facts here or there, like we say, a nugget of truth that in there at some point ties in, but you got to at some point understand it's being made for the internet so you can digest it, entertain it. It's kind of like reality TV where, yeah, it's sometimes real, but a lot of it's scripted. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you are enjoying it and everyone gets that it's a product, then it's fine. There are some people out there that don't understand there's a product here, right? They don't. They actually legit think that like some of this stuff is real or it's all real. And then they just they get wrapped up in it and they become part of this vortex of crap on the internet. And it's all day, every day. And it's just, it becomes insane obsession, insane amounts of involvement, right? And that's where I get scared because, as you know, all I do is sit in this chair, turn on my stream, talk with you guys, make content, play games, and ask for support in response. That's it. I'm not sitting here blowing the world up. I'm not doing insanely controversial content. I'm not saying things that are harmful. I'm not, leading a cult to jump off a cliff like a bunch of lemmings. None of that is happening. But some people act like it is. Some people actually think that like this harmful, horrible thing's happening. And that's sick. Because all you have to do is just come to the stream and hang out, and it's just, you know the truth. So, that's a situation that I find myself in. There's people who are absolutely obsessed with me and my family, my cat, my content, all of it. All I want to do is sit here and hang out with a few people every day and have a good time and make a living doing it. That's it. I don't want to harm anyone. I don't want to, go crazy to make a living. I don't want to step on anyone to get ahead. I'm cool with who I am and where I am. I'm just happy. But people just aren't satisfied with that. And that's why I get nervous that someday there will be some crazy weirdo, okay, who thinks that they are some kind of crazy righteous knight, that they can end Darkside Phil and his content creation forever, and they try something stupid. And who's to say that that won't happen? I mean, I hope it doesn't. I hope that people are smart enough to understand this whole thing. It's just a show. It always has been, but people just don't get it. They don't. They think everything is fucking crazy, serious, and real. And it gets to the point where it's scary shit. Now, in particular, I have no idea what you're talking about in regards to this person in Japan or whatever. I don't know the story, so I'm not going to comment on it at all. But, all I can say is I would hope that it never gets crazy. I would hope that to this point it hasn't, right? To this point, it hasn't been to the level of insanity and trying physical harm and shit like that. And I'm happy about that because obviously I want to protect myself and my family. But yeah, it gets crazy when you think that this could happen. You have people who go outside of the realm of reality and just do extreme things. So that's all I'm going to say about that because I can't comment on a situation where I don't know the specifics. I'd be pretty stupid, right? Okay. I received $2 from Big Larry Gaming. Is this font from Paper Mario? This font is supposed to be a take on Mario. I have no idea which games, actually. But yeah, it's supposed to be like a take on Mario Brothers. See, it matches the font in the Level 1 podcasts. It's the same font. So. And he says, hope you've enjoyed indie games. Would you try a game called Looking into Fields of Mystria? It's a big update and chill fun. I don't know what that is. Fields of Mystria. Maybe we'll look into it in the future when we're looking for more indie games. Thank you for the $2 tip there. Big Larry Gaming. Okay. Well, there you go. See, Fed Roger says, yeah, the Comcast thing is crazy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so far, I would argue that's the craziest thing is someone who actually worked for my ISP sought out my account, searching by name, found the account, and was messing with my internet for many years. It wasn't just, they did it for a month. They were doing this for years. That was the reason my internet reset during the Side Scrollers interview. It's pretty crazy to think about that, but anyway. All right. So now we got that out of the way. Thank you for the early support, everybody. Okay. So now let's talk about yesterday and how stuff went. Okay. So yesterday, no podcast whatsoever. So no real hangout session vibe or anything like that. It was just me playing Call of Duty for over 4 hours. And arguably, that was my best Call of Duty stream of all time when it comes to gameplay. Not only was I wiping entire enemy teams with melee weapons, but I also switched to the sniper rifle and I went and all of a sudden, when it basically exploded, I got the best kill streak I ever got. The best kill streak I've ever gotten. Insane. Like over 15, 20 kills in a row. Because I was sniping and then I was swapping weapons. I was killing with the blast traps. People were trying to come in and get me and they were dying. Then I was summoning my score streak. So I had the napalm strike. That killed a bunch of people. Then the chopper came in. That killed a bunch of people. I continued to snipe. It was insanity. Okay? And in truth, this last week, there probably would have been 3 or 4 great things that I've done on stream that would have been great highlights. For example, there was the Neil Druckmann segment where I highlighted how he's complaining and crying that he may never make Last of Us 3. He's all stressed out, and it was so hard making Last of Us 2 and the Last of Us TV show because of the online bullying he got. The online bullying he got. Give me a fucking break. Anyway, that would have been a good highlight. Obviously, that kill streak would have been a great highlight. The thing is, I just haven't had the time at all to do highlights, which sucks because, like I say, I'm making them. I don't have anyone else doing them for me. I'm doing it all. So I just haven't had time at all to do it. Okay. Anyway. So massive gameplay yesterday, and then eventually we unlocked Master Splinter, and I even did a bonus video of playing with Master Splinter, which was fun. So if you wanted to see some of the absolute best content that I've done in Call of Duty, you should check out yesterday's videos. You're going to enjoy it. It went really well, okay? Last night, we played an indie game called Kiosk. This indie game is pretty interesting. You are working a very small booth or building, like fast food. You're making burgers, hot dogs, salads, different kinds of drinks, and then later on you add breakfast items, okay? But as you're just simply doing that, you're interacting with people who are telling you creepy stories about someone died and the previous employee died, and you're seeing things. You're starting to see ghosts in the environment and stuff. And it's wild, and it throws you for a loop. You're like, holy shit, what is going on? So, yeah, it's actually pretty well done for an indie game. It's only a few bucks. We were having a good time with it. We were making jokes because there's not really a lot of space to keep everything, so I'm throwing hot dogs on the floor and shit. It was pretty good, a pretty chill time. I had a good time with it. And it looks like we'll probably finish it with one more stream because I think we're on either the last day or the next to last day of the game. So, yeah, I definitely want to finish it. It was a good time. And then next time we'll probably wrap it up. So, if you missed it, give it a look. It's all here on the channel. All right. Now, you may have noticed something different from yesterday. I'm going to address it in a second, but let's see here. Listen to this. Someone tipped me $2.01. Question: if there's a vortex of mental illness that the internet seems to be creating, do you think on a psychological level we're connected like through a common consciousness? People plug into the common culture and has a physical entity, or the people reacting to and creating a feedback loop which creates in our minds the perception of depravity and mental ill-being? That's a little heavy. What I would say is, like I said, we are currently in the formative years of content creation on the internet and understanding what it's doing to change humanity as a culture. And this is a dangerous time because there are literal groupthink communities forming. It's not just about, a creator making video game content. Take a look at what's happening with politics, right? And how things are being affected by things on the internet with politics, when previously, I would argue, politics had always been a very much IRL thing, right? But now all of a sudden there's online movements, conspiracy theories, and it's getting pretty crazy in that regard. So I'm curious what's going to happen moving forward, because it's very much true when you say the following: it doesn't matter what the truth is, it just matters what the majority of people believe. Right? Let's say there's a certain situation that happens, and it could be anything, any hypothetical, and there's a factually what happened, but everyone just wants to believe that something else happened, says it happened, and regurgitates that it happened. What are more people going to believe? The thing that everyone talks about on the internet, that groupthink mentality. That becomes the fact, and the actual facts get forgotten. And that's a scary thought. It really is. That's an incredibly scary thought. Okay? People are saying my leaderboard's wrong. Because it is. It should be 14. The leaderboard should say 14. I must have not added the one of the $5 contributions. So there you go. Okay. Anyway, so let's continue on. All right. So yesterday, there were two distinct differences in my content. Okay. So let's address them. Distinct difference number one: there was no podcast at all. So there really was no hangout session where it was just us talking. There was interaction and talking during Call of Duty, but it was between games. There was some interaction and hangout during Kiosk, but it was a little different than just say, hey, here's the podcast that you've grown to know and love every morning, covering topics, discussing what's going on. It was different, right? For sure. And the fact that there was no podcast, some people distinctly were saying they felt like there was something missing, because that's a staple piece of my day. And why did I not do one? Okay. So that was number one. Okay. Number two, you may have noticed that the other major difference all day long was that not once ever during the course of my entire full streaming day did I ask for a contribution. Not once. I shouted out contributions. I updated the leaderboard. I mentioned if we were like halfway to the goal, but I absolutely not once did I ask for anything. Okay? That was a distinct difference. And I think people noticed. Some people didn't, actually. Some people didn't at all. But then some people noticed and started talking about it and stuff like that. Okay? So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the two distinct differences, all right? And let's talk about directly what the result was. So, the result is, no real hangout feeling. Instead, it's just Phil playing games, right? And that's very different, okay, than the usual feeling, than vibe that you get around here. A lot of people have said, I come by because I want to hang out with Phil. I don't necessarily care about what he's even doing today, okay? Now, if you didn't notice, yesterday, during the entire ginormous Call of Duty stream, I didn't hit my goal, all right? In fact, I only got about halfway. It was around, I think, again, I'm just off the top of my head. I didn't really count it or anything. It was around $80 of support. Not a bad stream, all right? And it's Call of Duty, and Call of Duty always is hit or miss. Sometimes with Call of Duty, I've done really, really well, and other Call of Duty streams have been on the slower side. This one, I got more than halfway, but we didn't hit the goal, right? There you go. Now, there's many things that can be surmised from this. There was no podcast. And typically, in a podcast, I get some support, and that support is tied to the podcast. Like, look, we already have, $14 of support, and undoubtedly there will be more that will come by the end of this show, right? And that is definitely tied to the podcast. Since I didn't do a podcast, likely there were people who said, oh, well, since he's not doing his podcast today, I'm not interested, and they didn't come by and they didn't support, right? So I think that's 100% got to be a factor in that, okay? So maybe if I did do the podcast and then I had done the Call of Duty stream, maybe I would have hit my goal, all right? And maybe not. Because as you know, when I'm doing the podcast, I say things like I'll talk about the goals and say, hey, look, guys, we're at 58 out of 60 goals hit. And remember, the big reward that's coming up when we hit 60 goals is DSP Tries It Girl Scout cookies, where I'm going to be trying 3 different kinds of Girl Scout cookies. Now, I haven't had these since I was young. It'll be interesting to see what I remember of these cookies versus what they are today. I'll tell you the price. I'll tell you the flavors. And it's going to be an interesting one because it's not fast food, right? Usually I hype it up, and I didn't do that yesterday at all, okay? That didn't happen. So without that hype, right, without that hype factor, definitely I think there's people who, aren't going to contribute because they contribute when the hype hits. Oh, we're almost close to a goal. Oh, that goal sounds interesting. Oh, I want to be a part of that, right? And that didn't happen yesterday. So there's many factors. Factor number 1, there was no podcast. Some people just didn't show up because there was no podcast. And normally they would have supported during the podcast, and there was none. Number 2, there wasn't a lot of interaction because I was just sitting here playing Call of Duty all day. Okay. And number 3, I wasn't asking for contributions. I wasn't hyping up the goals. Instead, I just kind of let it ride to see how it would go. Okay. Now, this all applies basically to the first stream. Let's talk about the late stream. So the late stream last night was this unique indie game Kiosk. Now, when I play indie games, it's definitely going to be hit or miss as well, because it really depends on what's the game that I select. Is it something that people know? Does it catch on with the viewer? Some indie games that I've played have done a lot better than others, depending on levels of hype and things. So it's always all over the place, right? It is. So again, last night on that indie game stream, I didn't ask for anything whatsoever during the course of the stream. I didn't really bring up the goals or hype them. I think at one point I did mention, hey, we're like halfway to the goal, but I didn't really bring it up. Instead, it was just me talking with you guys and playing the game. And how do we do? I think by the end of the night, I think we got to like 70 something in support. So about halfway. All right. So there you go. Now, what can be surmised? What can be taken away from this? All right. That's really what we got to ask. What is the end result of yesterday? And by the way, why did yesterday even happen? All right. Well, I'm going to tell you. But first, I got to see if this is a troll or not. No, it's not. It's a dollar tip. Someone says, as an addendum, the scary part is when we create a mental disorder in society, it can persist for generations. The mental disorder in some way rubs off to your children who act upon the impressions when grown up. If it's a societal wide, then it can persist and recreate itself. Yeah, I'm really interested to see, you know, in the next few decades when people start to see the impact of being on the internet 24/7, being involved with this world groupthink, these memes and all this shit. Like, how does it affect human society? How has it changed us? Right? Because right now I think we're all in it, but we're not, no one's really analyzing it. Anyway, thanks for the dollar tip. Okay, so there's two things, all right, going on here at the same time. And basically, they both really got to me. And that's why yesterday's content was different. Okay. One thing is very personal, something that has happened this week that has hit myself and my family really hard. And basically, yesterday was a horrible day. All right. So, that being said, I didn't even want to do a podcast. I just wasn't in the mood. Like, I felt like I needed to come to this stream and distract myself as much as I possibly could with gameplay so that I could keep my mind off of stuff. Okay. So the moment I came on the stream, I just said hello. And then we went right into Call of Duty. And I'm going to be honest, it worked. Like, it actually legitimately worked, where while I was playing Call of Duty, I didn't really give a thought to anything else that was going on in my personal life outside of Call of Duty being played at that moment. So absolutely, positively, 100%, it helped a lot. It did. I needed it. I just needed to get my mind off of stuff. Because a lot of the times people say stuff like, then why don't you just take time off? Why don't you just walk away from streaming and take a few days or a week? And, well, number one, I couldn't take a whole week. Maybe I could take a couple days. Like I said, thankfully, thanks to you guys, I'm not in like horrible financial difficulties anymore. If I need to have an emergency and I really need to take time away for something like that, I can. Thankfully, I used to never be able to. I literally used to have to be here every day, all day. And now I don't have to anymore, and I'm very grateful for that. Okay? But in reality, if I had not been on stream distracting myself yesterday, I really feel like it would have actually been worse. Okay? Just being honest, you know? So it worked, you know? And thank you to anyone who was here yesterday and enjoyed the gameplay in the stream and everyone was having a good time. I really do appreciate you because it was a bad time for me. All right. And so that's why a lot of people could tell. They were like, his demeanor's different. This is weird. You're absolutely right. 100%. You guessed correct. Definitely stuff was going on. Okay. So there you go. Now there's another part to this as well. All right. There's two halves to this thing that went down yesterday. And the other half is that it was an experiment to some extent. And it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. And as it happened, I was like, well, this is fascinating because now what we can do is actually take this data to try to see how it affected things and, you know, maybe use it as a positive for improvement and stuff like that. So let's talk about yesterday. So first off, there was no podcast. All right. With no podcast and all gameplay, immediately you could tell some people were turned off, didn't tune in, or saw there was no podcast and left. All right. If anything, this is direct, actual evidence that people have adopted me as a podcaster, as someone who does content other than just gaming, that there are distinct groups of people who come here just to hang out with me rather than it being me play a game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a good thing. Why? Because I'm getting older. Okay? In just a few weeks, I'm going to be 43 years old, and I'm at the point in my life, they call it you're over the hill. I think we all got to accept this. I am more than halfway through my life at this point. Okay? I'm not going to get any faster, any stronger, any more viable. All right, this is not going to happen. At this point in my life, I can maintain, and then there's going to be a decline. This is just the reality of human existence. It's called the human condition. All right. Many people can't face it. I am. I'm trying to do this gracefully, age gracefully, and understand my limitations and the fact that I'm not 20 years old anymore. Okay. I can't just sit here playing games all day, every day, and expect that number one, I'm going to play them at any kind of level that's going to be entertaining. That number two, my stamina is going to keep up with all of that. And that number three, I'm going to be able to continue to make a living working like that. Okay. The reality is thus, I need to change and make new kinds of content. I need to change and do different things and not just be Phil the gamer. Okay. I need to have different aspects, whether it's as a podcaster, as a commentator, as making different kinds of content. This is what has to persist as I get older. The gaming will reduce. Will it ever phase out? No. I feel like I will want to be a gamer, all right, for a long time, for as long as I can be, all right? I love video games and gaming in general. It's been a part of my life. It's part of culture. It's everything that I love to share with the internet. But you get to a point where you got to be realistic and understand that's just not what I can do all the time. It ain't going to work, okay? It's not. So there you have it. The podcast is the way that I get daily to do stuff that's not just sitting here playing video games all day. And that's a good thing. I love this podcast. I'm so glad that we experimented with the pre-stream years and years ago, realized there was an audience for it, turned it into an official podcast, and now we have this content every day. And I'm incredibly appreciative to all of you who come by and hang out with me, talk these topics, hash this stuff out. This podcast has actually helped me improve my content so much in the last couple of years. I am so grateful. And for those of you who come by every day to hang out and support the podcast as opposed to the gaming, I really am thankful because this is where my future lies, this kind of content. Not just play games, play games, play games. Now, I want to keep playing games. Again, I don't want to get the wrong idea. So this means Phil's just going to stop playing games. He's done. No, I want to keep playing games. Look at what I've been doing recently with things like fighting games and stuff. It's been great. But we do have to have variety of content, and the podcast has become a critical part of that content. And the day I didn't do the podcast, we saw a decline in viewership. People left. They didn't support. It's cause and effect. Okay? Now, there's another factor here that I need to bring up. Okay? And this is going to be a big one. So hold on to your butts. But I need to do a quick shout out. Okay? Someone tipped $1.50 and says, I feel like you did it because August the Duck's video on you went viral. It didn't go viral. It's doing exactly the same as every other documentary about me. It hashes through the same kind of content, the same kind of stuff. It didn't go viral. Would have been if it had like 10, 20 million views. It's not viral. You don't know what the word viral means. Okay. It's basically the same drama content. Okay. Now, the other factor involved in all of this, all right, is very simple. Okay. I wanted to do a test to see what would happen if I had an entire day where I did not ask for contributions, where I did not mention goals and hype them up, where instead I just let the gameplay content speak for itself. Now, it's a little difficult to judge because perhaps if I had done the podcast, it would have been different. Maybe there would have been people who showed up to the podcast and supported it. I don't know. This is all hypothetical. You never know, right? But the results are the results. I didn't mention contributions. I didn't ask for contributions. All I did was shout them out as they came in, mentioned where we were with our running tally, okay? And all day long, I did not hit a goal. In fact, I only got about halfway to my goals on both streams. Okay? So I'm just gonna make it known for those out there that say, hey, Phil, if you just sat around and played games and made it all about the games and that was your focus, you would have been fine. The problem is that you don't just focus on the games. You have these other segments, you have this other content, you talk about just go games like you used to. Okay? Well, I'm just going to be honest with all of you. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't. All right? It's incredibly hard in this day and age to make a living just focusing on video games. This is a bad take. All right? I tried for a very long time to stick to my guns, to be who I was, just gaming, gaming, gaming. It doesn't work anymore. All right? Seriously. It needs to be a situation where basically there's got to be variety, there's got to be a mix. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be an understanding that it's not just about me sitting here playing games all day. It doesn't work anymore. The era of long form playthroughs and making a living just doing them ended a decade ago, arguably, because people had to start changing. There had to be sponsorships, partnerships, getting the games early, getting exclusive access, click this referral code, do that. That's how those kind of people are making a living today. It's very rare, and I'm not saying there's no situations, but it's very rare where you would find a situation where people are going to be able to just play the games, put out playthroughs, and make a full living. All right? Just being honest. I don't foresee that moving forward unless you are someone who plays that game, meaning you do the promotion, you do the sponsorship, you take the pay bag, you take the bag and run with it, right? Those are the people who are making a living doing it like that, okay? So, in that regard, in that regard, I think that was definitive evidence that just doing the games doesn't work anymore, okay? Just being honest. I got a couple more shout outs to do, and then we're going to continue on with this train of thought. Beaver Bother with a $1.50 tip says, hope you have a good stream. Thank you, Beaver Bother. And then there was a $5 tip. No, we have not covered gaming news yet. Someone says, have you covered gaming news today yet? No, I have not. But we will get to it. There's one Ubisoft story. Then again, maybe we won't get to it today and we'll cover it tomorrow because it looks like we're going long on this segment. Okay? I do feel like this is way more important. The Ubisoft story can be covered on any day. Okay. So Sin did a $10 super chat and says, being honest, when you begin your stream answering detractors and drama and engaging with negativity, I hate it and leave. I was hoping you woke up. Sorry, this is my last Dono King. We didn't do that today. I have not addressed a single detractor at all. We're not addressing drama. We're talking about what happened, why my content was different yesterday. So if it's your last dono, I can't stop you. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I think you need to cool the hell down, cool your jets somewhere else, because obviously you don't know what you're talking about on my stream. Okay, but thanks for the super chat. If it is your last super chat, it's much appreciated. And thanks for ever contributing. Sorry you feel that way. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. Continuing on. So, number one, I can't just play games anymore and expect some kind of success. I can't. I can't just play the games. It's not enough. All right? There's got to be change moving forward. So that's number one. Okay? Number two, the other factor here. Okay? I literally did not ask for support yesterday at all. And as you know, it's become part of my routine. It's part of my shtick. We hype up the goals. We hype up getting excited over who's going to be the next super chatter, who's going to be the first tipper, who's going to do a sub over on King. And it works. It does. It legit works. People get excited when you hype stuff up in a positive manner. And as long as people understand that you're hyping things up in this positive manner and that it's to hit goals, to get rewards, to get excited, then I don't see there's anything wrong with that. All right. Where I do think that there's stuff wrong with it is, for example, if I get back to my old bad ways of saying things such as, oh, I'm desperate. Oh my God, I can't pay my bills. I can't afford my groceries. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff was extreme, okay, to the point where I'm embarrassed. I know I did it for years. I'm sorry I did. It was because I was desperate. I was really in a bad way. There was a few years there where I had no money, no credit, everything was falling apart because of the bankruptcy, and everything was destroyed. Okay? Now I'm in a better place. So I'm not doing that shit. And, I would hope I never, ever do it again. So, I'm hoping to improve for the better over time. And I hope that I am improving for the better over time. Instead of saying, hey, I'm desperate, I say, hey, let's get hype, right? Let's get this moving. Let's get momentum. Let's hit the goal. Let's do a big reward, an exciting thing. I mean, if I hadn't hyped up all of our goals over the last couple of weeks, we wouldn't have had a Ninja Turtles pizza party. We wouldn't have done the 5 nights at Freddy's Torture-thon like we just did on Monday. That probably would have been much later in coming, right? I mean, hell, we're almost to the next reward right now. And I don't think that would have happened either. We're talking, we're getting accelerated rewards and special things. The Lego night, that was something special a couple of weeks ago that we did just specifically because we're hitting goals. And that was something you guys told me you wanted. You said, don't do a DSP tries it, do a Lego night instead. So we did. And now there's people who are legitimately really enjoying that content, correct? So the way I see it, as long as it's being done in a way, okay, where basically I am not being irresponsible, then it's okay. But if I am getting to the point where it is irresponsible and I'm begging hard because I'm saying, oh, I desperately need it and all of that, that's messed up. Okay, it is. So that's just another take from yesterday. I did a day with 0 asks. 0. Not once did I say, hey, contribute. Hey, let's hit the goal. Hey, let's do this. Not once. Did I get support? I did. I did get support. Did I hit any of my goals? No, I did not. Not at all. Okay, so there's your evidence. I'll still do all right if I'm never asking for support, but likely what'll happen is you'll have incredibly slow days, and that will hurt me, to be frank, okay? You don't want to have a series of incredibly slow days. It would be much harder to hit goals, to do celebratory rewards, to get hype for marathons. Like, that all goes hand in hand. Okay, it does. So I'm just going off the evidence as presented to me. All right. Something completely different was tried, and it had to be done organically, meaning I didn't announce ahead of time that I was doing an experiment. Okay, really, it had to be done with the right timing, and it was. It was a day when things were horrible for me. I just needed to take my mind off of everything. I wanted to immerse myself in the games. I didn't want to sit here doing an interactive stream where I felt like shit. I didn't want to be shilling all day. I just wanted to sit here and be focused to get through the day, and it worked. Okay? So all those factors combined, all right, there's a few things that I've kind of surmised and gotten out of it. All right? And here it is, because I'm going to present it to you now. All right? Ladies and gentlemen. Moving forward, I, Darkside Phil, have 3 ways that I can continue. And I think all 3 ways I can be successful. Okay? I feel like if I don't take one of these 3 paths, I see 3 roads before me. One goes left, one goes right, and one goes right up the middle. Okay? And I see all three roads, and I don't know what the right course of action is. And to be quite frank with you, I don't actually believe there is a right choice. But allow me to present to you the three paths based on my observations recently, okay? Path number one would be a path that many content creators changed to, course corrected to, all right, over the years. What do I mean by that? Something smells in here. Look, something smells. What's that? Anyone smell something? Oh, did someone cut the cheese? Oh, a fart that smells just did a super chat. That's what it is. Well, I'll shout that out in a minute. I'll shout that out in a minute. All right. So, course number one is a simple course, but it's a course that would mean a lot of changes for me. All right. Sell out. Just give up on the fact that I've been this stubborn asshole for the last 10 to 15 years of my life and career and say, I give up on trying to be different. I give up on trying to do things in a different way. I should just do what's best for myself and my family and say, fuck all this. Stop standing on my own laurels, my own values, my own loyalty, my honesty. What does it all really mean anyway? Right? At the end of the day, does any of it actually matter? Or does what matters is that I have the ability to provide for my family? Okay? So when I say this, what do I mean? I mean, immediately I start reaching out to every major company that makes games, all those PR managers in between, indie game companies, game peripheral companies, every single fucking company. And I say, hey, let's make a deal. Send me your game. Send me your product. Send me this, and I will shill it, right? I will shill everything possible. I'll use your referral code. I will play your game early, and I will not break the street date, and I won't say a negative word about your game. I'll kiss its butt. I'll do exclusive stream previews for my audience so they'll see games ahead of time, and I'll get everything early, and I'll do advanced reviews and sneak peeks, and you can fly me out to events where you can schmooze me in person and fluff me up so that I can get hype for your game and say the game is the best game ever. Everyone should be excited for it. Everyone should buy it. And you, in turn, will give me money, or you will give me exclusive access to that so that then I will benefit from it. And then it'll be you pat me on the back, I pat you on the back, unspoken rule that we will keep this in the loop and we'll all just keep helping each other in a circle. And that's how we all make bank, and that's how we all get by. Ladies and gentlemen, any content creator that you see that is a gamer or influencer who abides by everything that I just mentioned has sold out. They don't make content because they're passionate about it. They don't make content because they care about what they're putting out. They make content because they want to make money, to make a living, to support their family, to make bank, to get rich, and to essentially take the bag. That's it. Now, is there anything wrong with that? That's up to you to decide. That's your own choice. Many people don't see any issue with it, and they go watch these big creators who get thousands and thousands of viewers on their streams, who get all the access, who get all the extra stuff. I could have done that and done that over a decade ago. I was in that group. I chose actively to not do it, but I could. It would mean a complete shift of focus. It would mean a complete and utter change from the content that I have put out for the last 16 plus years. There would be no honesty. It would be all fluff. Now, the streams would be way more positive. You would never hear me talking about detractors ever again. I actually mean that. Like, it would mean I have to never be honest again about any of that stuff. I have to pretend like it's all white noise and doesn't exist and doesn't get to me. It would just be me talking about games, game news, and all these promotions. Here's a referral code. Please click it. Please buy this merch. Please buy this game. It would be very different from who and what I am today and always have been. It would be a complete change of take. All right? That's path number one. That's the path going to the left, I feel. Okay? Now, there is another path going to the right. And that path, ladies and gentlemen, is the path of drama, the path of hate, the return of the old school classic, no holds barred, no punches pulled, say whatever the fuck I want, do whatever the fuck I want, because I'm the big dog in the yard and no one's gonna fuck with me. The return of the king of hate, Dark Side Phil. I shit on everything, I make fun of everything, I razz everything, and I cause drama. I talk shit and everyone hates me and I hate them back. So I'm constantly arguing with people. We've got arguments, we've got fights, I'm going on podcasts and I'm fucking tearing people a new asshole, but then they're tearing me a new asshole. And we got people at each other's throats and I'm appearing on Lolcow Live and Kino Casino and I'm screaming at the hosts and they're screaming back at me and we're going crazy. And there's just drama left, right, up and down. Dark Side Phil always causing problems for everyone. He just won't keep his fucking mouth shut because he bothers everyone and he talks shit about everyone. Why can't he just shut the fuck up? But it's very entertaining when he opens his mouth and you always want to hear the next thing he's going to say because you don't know how crazy it's going to be and you don't know who he's not afraid to piss off next. That's the right-hand choice. Okay? Complete polar opposite of the left-hand choice. Because I'm not playing the game. I'm ignoring, I'll still play video games, sure. But this would be leaning completely and utterly into the drama. Internet blood sport. I'm coming at all these motherfuckers who've come after me for the last 10 to 15 years. I'm going to destroy every single fucking one of them. And then when I'm done with them, because it won't take long to go through these fucking schlubs who've shat on me for so long. When I'm done with every one of those fucking losers and there's just a pile of broken fucking bodies at my feet, then I'm going after everyone else. No one is fucking safe from the king. Now, what's hilarious about that is that everyone is going crazy right now. Everyone is going nuts in the chat, right? They are. Everyone, whoa. It's funny because the first option I mentioned, the left road, going towards gaming and butt kissing and selling out, some people were like, we would like that. We're okay with that. Now I go to the drama side and people are like, oh my God, yes, drama. Do it, Phil. Change, rip everyone, right? But you have to understand something. Okay? Just like the left turn goes into selling out. When you go left and you turn that direction, you have to understand something. You can't go back. Once you're a shill, you're always a shill. It never changes. You will always be that shill and you can't stop it. You will have to be that for the rest of your career because no one's going to believe you after you've sold out and lied for so long. If you go to the right and you become ultimate drama, the return of the king of hate, and I'm here to destroy the internet and fuck everyone, right? That also is an irreversible change. Because now, once you go down that vortex, all right, willingly, which I have not done, I have been incredibly resistant. And I keep telling you guys, I don't want to go down that vortex. I think that it would be destructive. To be quite frank, I think that would result in some of the most interesting, most entertaining content the internet has ever seen. And also it would destroy people's fucking lives. Okay? I'm just being honest. I think it would be incredibly entertaining and incredibly toxic and destructive at the same time. I see people losing their jobs. I see people losing their livelihoods. I see people getting completely destroyed. Really. All right? So, there you go. That's that direction. If I do that, that's the end of me seriously covering games. Every once in a while, maybe I'll pull a game out and play it, but it's going to be drama all day, every day, drama, drama, drama. And by the way, I fully believe, truly believe, that either of those paths, which are the easy paths, would make me more popular, more financially successful, and secure a future for my family. I firmly and utterly believe that. Okay? But then there's the third row. Okay? There's the third row. And the third road is the hardest. And the third road is the most challenging and the toughest. All right? Because the third road is the road that no one travels. It's the road, don't sell out, but don't become a drama queen, person here. But the third road is the road where I listen directly to my viewers and I do my best to take constructive criticism and change for the better in the future. But I be my own person. I don't become the shill sellout. I don't become the drama queen, king of hate, but instead, I'm just me. I sit here every day and I hang out with you and we have honest, fun conversations about gaming, about news, about other stuff. I do branch out from time to time and do different kinds of content, but it's not always my major focus. If new hot games come out, we can go back and enjoy them. If a chill indie game's out, we can hang out and like it. But we can also adjust and pivot on the fly. I'm not going to be the king of hate or the king of anything. I'm not going to be the shill king where I make a ton of money, but I'm still going to be me, and I won't lose myself, and I won't have to change and take the easy way out like everyone else has. All right? But there is a caveat to all of it. All right? And here's the caveat. Here's the kicker. Here's the catch. Here's the trick. Here's the thing that so many people seem to have issue with when I take that third road. All right? The road far less traveled. I have to do things differently. And because I'm doing it differently and I don't have sponsor money and I don't have drama money, I have to ask my viewers for money. Because I'm asking you daily if you like the third road, the road that's the hardest out of all of them, where I'm not going to get big corporations backing me and a bunch of people who like internet blood sports throwing their money at me. I'm going to need those who want that different kind of content to actually come and support it. And I'm going to be asking you every day. And I'm going to be asking you, Jasper, are you okay? You all right? He jumped in the window and he slipped and he fell out of the window. You all right? I think he got caught up in the curtains. Poor guy. Okay, let's continue. Because this is the road less traveled, because this is the one that no one does, right? Everyone makes bank one way or the other. And everyone wants me to go one way or the other. I keep getting told, go this way or go that way. Go this way or go that way. But what about my way? And what's wrong with my way? All right, honestly, what's wrong with my way? Because the major complaint everyone says is you just ask too much. Well, when I ask, I receive. When I say, let's get hype for an event, let's get hype for this and that, people actually support it because they like it. If they didn't like it, why would they support it? When people say things like, oh, your reward is you're going to eat fast food, how is that a reward? Well, why don't you ask the people who supported to get it? Because obviously they saw it as such. Did they not? Did we not just do an entire day of me playing a series of games that I never would have played on my own, but because you guys asked for it, I did. And now we've got an awesome outcome where now I might actually play these games in the future and check them out because I understand them better. So how is that not a good outcome from me asking for contributions to get there? And another question that I have to pose, okay? Me sitting here on a stream all day saying, let's hit the goal, let's get some super chats, let's get some subs, right? Who is that hurting exactly? Was I running a large-scale crypto scam where I lied to my viewers about their investments, making them rich, and then I just pulled the rug out from under them and pocketed all their money? Did it ruin any of their lives? Right? Did I run an entire giant corporation based on giving your children unhealthy candy and Lunchable knockoff meals that actually are going to make them like sick and not healthy? But because I'm some big guy who's like the Pied Piper to children on the internet, it's all okay. So I ruin an entire generation of kids who watch garbage on the internet? Did I do that? Did I fake cancer for money? Did I do any of these horrible, horrendous things that other content creators who are big and prominent just get off doing every day and never get held accountable for? No. What I said was, let's eat some fucking pizza. Send me some money so next week we can order pizza, which you will help me to order, and we'll have a fun pizza party together. And then we did it. And then it was fun. So what's wrong with that? We've got actual creators on the internet making documentaries about me saying I'm the greediest creator. Are you fucking kidding me? Have you ever watched anyone else, you pathetic fucking schlub? You are so lame because you take the low-hanging fruit, the easy target that everyone's already targeted, to make a worthless fucking video that rehashes the same shit and just ignores the fact that there are people 47 times worse than me who actively hurt people on a fucking daily basis to get ahead. But somehow I'm the greediest person on the internet. Get fucked, you disingenuous fucking loser who has no idea how to actually make a documentary. What a fucking loser schlub to pull my name out of the hat and say I'm the greedy guy. You're nuts. Now, the third path is different. The third path means I need your support every day. And it means that every day I'm going to ask for it. And it means every day I'm going to hopefully get it. And I will be disappointed if I don't. Okay? But it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy because it's not get paid to kiss butt and get paid to basically hurt people. Instead, it's get paid to be me and ask for the payment because it's willing. Because I'm giving you the content for free. And then hopefully you guys will help to keep it coming by supporting me moving forward. It's different. It's definitely a different model. And at least people, these fucking, you're an e-beggar. Listen, you tell me, what's the better path? The sellout, the bully, or the person who says, let's get positive and please send me some support so we can do some fun stuff together? What's worse? Nothing's perfect. I'll be honest, I don't think any three of those choices is perfect. I don't. And to be honest with all of you, okay, I don't think that it's my right to sit here and say that any of those paths are absolutely incorrect. I may morally disagree with some of those paths. All right, I might. But that doesn't mean that they're wrong. That doesn't mean that they're right. It just means that they're different. Okay? I think too many people on this planet think that the world is black and white. So either that was the right path or it was the wrong path. That's not true. Everyone can live to coexist and do their own thing and not have to fuck with others and not have to destroy the things of others. You know what I'm saying? I've learned this a lot over the last 10 years, that it's more about live and let live. I mean, I had a lot of issues with Keemstar and the kind of content that he puts out. I did. I really strongly disagreed with it and thought that it was wrong. And I sat here and I crapped on him because I was jealous of his success. And I didn't like that he was getting over with the kind of bullying, lolcow kind of content that he was making. Okay? And then we sat down and we had a conversation together, very man to man, very respectfully. And now I think my eyes have been opened and I realized I really don't think it's my right to criticize that content if everyone who's involved in it is willingly involved in it. It's different if someone's forced into it, coerced into it. There's a difference. But everyone who's on those shows is willingly on them. They're actively engaged in it. They're making bank doing it. And it's their right to. It's not my place to sit here and crap on that way. You know, On the flip side of that, the sellout stuff, I know I rag on those people all the time. I know I do. 100%. I don't like sellouts. I don't like you turn on someone's stream and you've got referral code here, ad over here, click here to buy merch, click here to do this. Where's the content? You're literally a living billboard at that point, and a lot of people have done that. Okay? They've become sponsor-centric streamers. I don't like that. At the same time, is it really my place to be crapping on that? Maybe I should have been a lot more respectful when it came to, what is it, Woody's Gamer Tag and that show that they run, which I don't remember what it's called anymore. Isn't it? Oh, Painkiller or whatever it is, where I shat all over them and I said, man, that's fucked up. Look, their show's terrible. I mean, yeah, that was kind of me making fun of them, lampooning them. But at the same time, if they're making a living doing it and they're not hurting anyone by doing it, then I don't know why I'm shitting on them, except, of course, jealousy. Because I'm jealous that they're successful, while here I am over here, the whipping boy of the internet, and I'm, scraping to get by and shit like that, right? So again, it's just jealous. It's the same thing. Same thing that I had with Keemstar, right? So there's really nothing wrong with any of the paths, all right? But I want you to understand why I've tried to do things different, why I feel like my path can work, but it requires people to actually have some independent thought, to not listen to fucking morons who are constantly just crapping on stuff, using it for personal gain. Phil's the worst guy on the internet. Dude, there is no one who can legitimately look at me and my content and say that I am the worst guy on the internet, period. It's just not possible. So anyone who has is a disingenuous liar who has no content and relies on trying to make fun of memes on the internet to make content. I want you to think about that. I sit here and I grind every day to put out content for you, whether it's gaming news, a podcast, just hanging out and having conversation, playing a game, doing other things outside the box, whatever it is, it's definitely content. All right? I don't just make my content talking about other people's content. I make original content. That's way harder. Because if you don't make your original content, you just suck on everyone else. You're a fucking parasite. I don't need anyone else to exist. I exist in the center of this weird universe, and this parasite vortex exists around me. If I turn off my camera and never broadcast again, 1,000 people have nothing to do tomorrow. So every one of them can get fucked. None of what you say matters. None of your criticism is valid. You're a bunch of fucking loser lowlifes, and you don't mean anything to me. What does mean something to me are the people who are here day in, day out, hanging out with me on stream, supporting me in moral ways and financial ways to allow me to do what I love. Those are the people who are going to support me, or they're the reason that I'm still here. After 17 years and so many other people who become irrelevant, or they quit and they ran away and tapped out, I'm still fucking here. There's a reason for that. And yes, it's a lot of my determination, but at the same time, it's a lot of you and your determination, and you're putting up with the bullshit and sticking with it and supporting me through all these times with everything. It's amazing. All right, it is. So thank you for that. But this is the path that I have: the sellout, the drama king of hate return, or my path, which I've been doing, but understanding that we're just not going to put up with this bullshit from these fucking losers anymore. And yes, I am going to make money. I am going to ask for contributions, and you're going to like it because I'm successful and you're not. Because success doesn't mean you steal success from someone else. It means you make it for yourself, which is what I have always done and you could never do because you don't have talent. Get it? Anyone who relies on me to make their content has no talent. Sorry, it's just true. Yeah. If anyone wants to argue with that, why don't you make some content for your own and show me how fucking successful it does? Like some of these no loads who actually did try. Oh, I'm going to play games like Phil does. Oh, I'm going to do a stream like he does. Oh, I'm going to do this. And then you fail, you fail, you fail, you fail. Why doesn't July the Cuck make a fucking piece of content for himself that's not making fun or deriding or trying to bring down someone else and see how it does? Because it ain't going to fucking work. Get it? The talent are the ones who have the parasites sucking on them at all times. Anyway, at this point, I think it's time to do some shout outs, and then it's time to actually get into some real content because this has been a very dramatic, dramatic stream. That's for sure. All right. Let's go ahead and do some shout outs. All right. And thank you because so many people are giving me very positive messages right now in the chat and everything. And I appreciate that. And I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. You know, here I am. I'm going through shit. All right. I'm going through real shit in my life that is so separated from any of this fucking bullshit on the internet. And then I gotta go to the internet. I gotta hear about this motherfucker did this and this little loser did this. Another one's sucking on you, Phil. Another one's sucking. I think it's time to start flicking the leeches off one by one, right? Grab them by their fucking balls and start crushing them for the fucking life losers that they really are because they don't deserve any popularity just because they bring up my fucking name. It's time to start getting real with these fucking losers because they don't deserve a lick of time. All right? Okay. Let's do some shout outs. So Jalen, $2 super chat says W accountability. Yeah, and I have accountability. Listen, man, I fucked up in the past and I know it. But the thing is, people don't want to act like I've changed at all. They want to act like Darkside Phil in 2025 is Darkside Phil from 2020 who was begging for contributions and saying, I'm going to show you my cat and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's couldn't be further from the truth. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? How can you say that? It's completely different. A fart that smells with a $10 super chat, and man, I smelled it when it came by. I think you're doing great. As someone who used to regularly watch all the people who hate you, it got old fast. I enjoy your content now, and streams really do help to relax the mind. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you saying that. Adam Theory with the $2 super chat saying, I vote for the King's return. Listen, it's a viable path, but it means the path of pain, the path of drama, and the path of hurting people. You know, it does. It means that I have to actively start seeking out targets and shooting fucking Scud missiles at them. And every day it's a new target. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be bloody. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be bad. People are going to get hurt. And in the entire time, in 17 years that I've made content, all right, I feel like I haven't done that. And I'm happy for that. That's why I'm able to like sleep at night because I feel like I'm not hurting anyone with the content that I'm putting out there. Do you understand? And I don't want to hurt anyone. I would much rather be my own guy. And yeah, if that means having to ask for contributions on a stream of people who are willingly giving them because they like the content, then so be it. At least I'm not lying. I'm not cheating. I'm not hurting. I'm not shilling. Instead, it's honest content. Foggy Bottom with a $2 super chat. King of Hate, they drew first blood, do it. Well, they all drew first blood. They did. They absolutely did. The whole fucking internet took their shot. And they're still taking their shot. You would think they would have fucking learned by now, but I guess not. I guess some people still need to be taught a fucking lesson. It's like they just don't fucking learn that I don't die. That when you take a shot at me, it comes back at you. It's happened again and again and again, and these morons keep doing it. They're just not smart. I spilled some seltzer on my keyboard. Darn it. I gotta dry this. Hold on. Okay, crisis averted. I spilled some seltzer on my keyboard. I had to clean it. No, before we continue, because I do have a lot more, shout outs to do, but I'm just going to say this because a lot of you don't know this. All right. I'm going to say it publicly now while I got attention on me. Okay. Back in the fall, when I was getting this big boost of popularity because I had been involved with Kino Casino and been on their show and done this interview with Keemstar and all of this. Okay. I made myself available. Okay. To many people who would be considered some people who had called me out over the years. And their shtick was always, well, Phil always hides. Phil doesn't want to talk. Phil runs. So, we're going to crap on him, and then that's that. Well, I made myself available. I reached out to quite a few people behind the scenes, all right, who all had been crapping on me and said, hey, I'm ready to do a collab. Hey, I'm ready if you want to do an interview, whether it means that we together appear on the casino. Remember, I did it with Josh Moon, the owner of Kiwi Farms. So after that happened, there was several different people who I said, we got to do this because these people have been so fucking talkative all this time about me. Now it's time for them to actually step up to the plate and say something to me in person or, in one of these, in a public forum, rather than it just be you screaming at me. Let me scream back, or at least give me an opportunity to talk back and answer and counter for myself, right? They all ran like pussies. Every fucking one. Every fucking one ran away. You know about some of them, like Review Tech, who was going to be on my show, and then he pussied the fuck out. But for every one Review Tech, there was like 10 more of people who I reached out. I said, let's do it. Since you had a big fucking mouth all this time, where are you now? Let's go. Now that people actually want to hear my responses and are actually giving me a chance to defend myself and are listening, let's go. Run away. Why? Because all these people who have crapped on me for the last decade only did it because they wanted a one-sided, easy win argument. They thought no one cared about DSP, no one would listen to his responses, no one would give two shits about him. So therefore, take the shot, make the quick money, laugh about it, and then move on, and then bring them up again whenever we want another quick win, and that's it. But the moment that it all changed, they ran for the fucking hills and they shoved their heads into the fucking sand like an ostrich. And they have not been heard from since. Crickets. And my camera just turned off again. Crickets. Unbelievable. I have to get my camera working again. But yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. But that's what it is. For so long, I've been the whipping boy. Anyway. All right, well, I got it working temporarily. Let's see if it keeps working or not. Anyway, all right, continuing on. We got a lot of shout outs to do. All right. We've got, let's see here. The Red King did a $5 super chat. He says, announcing this doesn't seem authentic. I worry if you go the drama route, you will eventually have to embrace lol cow status. What would matter? You understand that it doesn't matter what I do. They say that anyway, right? No matter what I say and do, they always say, hey, you're a lol cow, whether you like it or not. So I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Right? Like, if I don't have control over it, then why not make bank on it? I mean, literally, isn't that exactly what they did with Lol Cow Live? They took a bunch of guys who were considered lol cows, giant lol cows on the internet, right? And they said, you know what? If you're going to already do this to us and embarrass us and make us look stupid, then we might as well just do our own content out of it and make bank on it. And now they do. People literally throw them endless amounts of money every stream, and more power to them and good for them. If that's the route they want to go, if that's the hand they've been dealt and they want to take advantage of it and they want to milk these idiots who throw them money to embarrass themselves, then they should be able to do it and be prosperous and have a good life. I am not jealous in any way. In fact, I congratulate them on that. Adam Theory with another $2 super chat. No matter what the king decides, I'm here for it. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Adam. What is it? You're going to ride with me no matter what I decide to do? Well, there you go. I don't, who knows what the future holds? I don't know. I don't. I legit don't know. But, man, it's been a wild ride so far, and it continues. Gabriel the Blessed, $5 super chat. While seeking revenge, dig 2 graves, one for yourself. You're right. That's what I've seen, at least when it comes to this internet blood sport bullshit, okay? No one really wins. Yeah, there's temporary boosts in viewership, there's temporary boosts in support, but at the end of the day, everyone's a loser. Everyone loses it, when this happens. Princess Luna with a $10 super chat. Thank you. You are unapologetically yourself, and there will always be an audience for that, no matter what path or paths you decide to take. Thank you, Princess Luna. I appreciate that. And that, in reality, I truly believe that. And the reason I truly believe that is pretty simple. I have been on YouTube. I have been on Kick. I have been on Blip TV. I have been on Twitch. I've been on demand. I've been live. I've been in person at events. I've done all of this, right? And I still am successful. It doesn't matter where I go, what I do, everyone follows. Both the people who love my content and my detractors. They obsessively follow me everywhere. Okay? Okay. Now we have a bunch of tips to shout out because I didn't even look at tips. The whole time here, I was looking at super chats. But to be honest, most of these tips are $1. So I'm going to be honest, it's probably detractor shit. So let's take a quick look. Usually the dollar tips are a waste. Oh, there you go. Someone tipped $1, says, I'm not really interested in the Lego stuff. However, I am interested with you changing your set pieces with things you build on Lego Night. And also with the different perspectives and stuff that you've been doing recently. Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that now I can do different kinds of content because I've set stuff up to do different things. Like, for example, I could use a wide angle shot. I could use this close up, and this is my face cam, and it's working really well. But then I can have this come down here, and we can do Lego nights. DSP tries it. You can see the food up close, right? This has been working out well. And I feel like if we continue down the path I'm going, we can keep doing improvements and things like this. I mean, it sucks my PC is giving me technical issues, probably because the motherboard is a piece of garbage. There's not much I can do about that at this point. Maybe long-term I can fix that, right? But I am happy that we are doing new things, trying new things, and they are panning out to actually add to the content, for sure. Okay. I received a $1 tip. Would you be heartbroken if the majority of people actually preferred you shilling because you become a nice sponsor face streamer, another brick in the wall? Let me put it this way. All right? I don't like being advertised to. Okay, I never have. I think TV commercials have become increasingly more cringe and awful. And sadly, what I think has happened is people have lost track of the fact that when it comes to content creation on the internet, it began as someone who is genuine and has talent or passion sharing it with the world, but just didn't have any production budget to do it. Now it's become, well, you just trust me because you like me because I'm well liked on the internet and you do everything I say, so buy this product. It's a far cry from when I started 17 years ago as a content creator, and it's nothing that I really stand for, okay? Would it hurt me to change and become someone like that? Yes. That doesn't mean that it's not a viable option. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that it's not viable just because I don't agree with it. Okay? I received a bunch more tips. Good Lord. They're all small, tiny tips, but there's a million of them. Let me try to get through them here. We'll never finish the podcast. I got another $1 tip. If you expect internet drama to become worse in the future, given the craziest and extra push to hate you or your family, you should seriously consider it. Get a direct line to your local police constable. Oh, I already do. I mean, you guys don't even realize this, but when I first moved here over a decade ago, I called my local police. I explained the entire situation, and I told them it was very possible that people were going to lash out and do awful things to me and my family. And then they swatted me. And when they swatted me, I talked directly to the officer. I said, "Officer, this is exactly what we talked about. This is the swatting I warned you about." And because of that, they treated it 100% differently, I feel, than if they didn't know. Okay? and they're aware. They know all about this. Okay, so yeah. I received a $5 tip. I want you to go with the sellout route, but I'd actually be fine if you went with the King of Hate route. I don't think the third middle road is going to work for you in the long run. We want to enjoy your content and not worry about if the stream is going to be supported or not. Fair enough. That's a fair, valid take. It's level-headed, and I appreciate it because you're right. Here's the truth. I hate fucking shilling at all. I hate the fact that I'm on a stream and I have to be like, let's hit the goal. Let's get some subs. Let's get some super chats. Let's get some tips. I hate it. I just want to make the content and be able to make a living doing it and not have to worry about that. Okay? Being honest. But because I'm the level that I am, I'm not a giant dude, and because I'm not doing the easy paths everyone else is taking, it makes it a necessary evil to have to do that. And you're right, there's always an element that what if this doesn't get support? What if there's a series of streams that don't get support? This game didn't work, I have to drop it, right? It's different for sure. And I think that's what a lot of people just don't get or understand or want to understand. They just want to deride and hate because I'm not taking the easy path. The hilarious part about it all is those who are hating on me literally took the easy path of drama. You see? They didn't try to actually do hard work to hash it out and earn anything. They just took the easy drama road to make fun of me. So it's easy for you, who's not working hard but making bank, to criticize someone who's working hard to make bank. You see? Kind of funny and hypocritical. I got a $1 tip here. You're an easy target. People know the crap going on in society. You're more direct, and people find it easy to live out their frustrations on you. It's therapy for your haters. Take that, haters. Phil's actually your free therapist. Wow. No, it's like I said. A couple weeks ago, I took 2 days off instead of 1. Okay? All that meant was I didn't stream for 2 days. That's it. They went nuts. My detractors were messaging people making death threats in my name, like I was telling them to do it, because I wasn't making content, so they had no drama. They couldn't survive, so they went and made their own drama. It's pretty insane. Let's see here. Captain Based Pants did a $2 tip. He says, kneel before the king, peasants. Long live the king. Well, thank you, Captain Based Pants. I appreciate that. So now we're at 81 and climbing. We got another $2 tip. Why don't you ask August the Duck to come on and see if he's willing to talk to you man to man? Because I don't have to. I don't need to. I don't need leeches to be interviewed on my show to make content. Do you understand? He needs someone like me to make content. I don't need him to make content. Get it? That's the difference. I can make content that's good and makes money very viably. He needs me. I don't need him. That's the difference. I received a $1 tip, and it's just a troll, so ignore them. Well, someone tipped $2 says, I think your content went soft. In your original Metal Gear playthrough, you swore, you made fun of the game, you wouldn't give a fuck, you would laugh. You clap back at people. Now you don't do any of that. Your content's PG-13. I liked you before when you were funny. First off, I can't make that content because if I did, I would be banned. You get that, right? That culture and times have changed. Do you understand that? Like the kind of content I used to say, the words I used to say aren't allowed anymore. The constant sexual commentary stuff, it's not allowed. Old Phil was a product of a different era of the internet before everything changed and everyone kind of became soft and a sissy and got offended by everything. I can't do that anymore. I would never be able to go back to that style of commentary. And to be very fair, all right, I got bored of it. It gets very tiring doing the same shtick over and over and over. And the fact that now today I'm able to be more myself, more honest, more transparent, and more of a hangout session than a hate session is, to me, better. It does. It feels more better making this content. I actually like coming to work every day. So, but I get it. Some people live in the past and they think that was the golden era. A lot of people say the golden era of Dark Side Phil, back when no holds barred, no punches pulled. I understand. I do. I can't fault you for it, but you have to understand that things change over time. Today, I'm 42, about to be 43 years old. I'm not the same as 27-year-old Phil. I'm a completely different person. I'm married. I live in a different place. I have different responsibilities. I have different things I have to know and care about. The content is very different. Back then I could do a playthrough within 2 days of a game being out, nonstop play a game with that kind of commentary, and it would get, no exaggeration, hundreds of thousands of views and make me thousands of dollars. That doesn't work anymore. The old shtick stops working after a while. You have to change. You have to innovate. You have to do different stuff. You can't just be the same endlessly. It doesn't last forever. I learned that the hard way because I did try to stick to that and stay that same guy and that same content for a while. But around 2016 is when it crashed, when it just wasn't working anymore. Oh, let's see. I received a $3 tip from Puffy Nipples. I've been watching since I was 17. I'm now 33. You've been through some shit. If you could try and get sponsorships, your trolls would harass them and they would probably lose your sponsorships. I would not try to do that. Your trolls need to be in padded cells. There you go. I mean, there are some exceptions. For example, the merch company, right, that I'm working with, they don't give a shit. They outright just don't give a shit. Like, let everyone fucking send us messages. They did, too. They were like, yeah, we got tons. And, we ignored them, threw them all out. Don't care. I'm like, good. Finally, someone who doesn't give a shit about nonsense on the internet, Someone who wants to be fucking professional. But it's the thing, you'd have to find the right ones. And then after a while, all right, things would change. After enough companies signed on and said, enough, we don't care about this, then things would change. But it would be tough. It wouldn't be easy at first, that's for sure. Okay. I got a $1.50 tip. If 1 or 2 sponsored streams a week means you don't have to worry about support, I would be for that option. I don't like ads myself, but when it comes to game streams, I feel like the game speaks for 80% of the time anyway. But it wouldn't. You have to understand, these are 3 paths that are so different, but each one means changing all of the content. This is not, oh, Phil does 1 sponsored stream a week and everything else is the same. That would never work. It's either going all in, becoming the fake guy, selling out completely 100% of the time, or going all in, being the king of hate, the drama returning all of the time, or being me, the third path, and trying to be an original and do things differently, but having to ask for contributions. It's one, the other, or the other, but it's all in. There's no way that you cannot go all in and be successful on those. Okay, I think I finally got through all the tips. Did I add that one? Crap, it was $1, but I don't know if I added it. Ken did a $1 super chat. Thanks, Ken. Nothing attached to it, though. It was just a $1 super chat, so I don't know what it meant. And Jalen did a $2 super chat. May every evil eye in your life go blind. Take the second path. Oh, man. All right. All right. Well, we've certainly had a good discussion. The podcast went long, but to be frank, I think it was going to happen. All right. Oh, excuse me. And I'm curious, everyone's thoughts. Obviously, I would love your feedback. But when I say your feedback, I mean the feedback of those who are here to watch, engage, and support my content. I don't mean the detractors. I don't mean the internet documentarians. I mean people who actually matter. People who will be here to watch the content and support it positively in some way moving forward. That's who I need to hear from. Not the peanut gallery of morons who are leeches on me and depend on me to make decisions to have content because they have none of their own. That's not who I'm talking about. Okay? I got another $1.50 tip. You have a stable crowd watching you 6 times a week, all the time, repeating how boring and bad your content is. What is that? What's your taste in content, then, you idiots? Yeah, I mean, again, it's weird. This is what we're talking about, this internet culture changing. Because it used to be you have a hobby, and your hobby is you're into something you like. So you watch it, you follow it, you study it, you're involved in it. And it may not even be, all right, a situation where it's something that you can actively do. Like there's big sports fans who aren't even sports players, but they're sports fans. And they get into the culture and they buy the merch and they go to the games and they do sports betting and they do all that stuff. And that's good. That's fine. But you do it because you like it, right? Now with the internet, what's happening is we're getting entire cultures based around things we hate. Oh, I really don't like this. So what I've decided to do is systematically try at every waking moment of my life to destroy it in any way that we can, right? Make a cult-like group that stalks the person in every possible thing that they do. Say everything they say is bad, wrong, or not good enough. Make entire series of videos, documentaries, content about how they suck, how they're horrible, how they're fucking up. Meanwhile, have absolutely no actual self-reflection whatsoever, looking at your own life of obsessive, compulsive action on this person that's twisted, broken, and mentally ill, but instead they're the one in the wrong, not you. While everyone else in life realizes we have one life to live. We have to spend as much time focusing on the positive as we can, because once we're dead, we're dead. You were busy focusing on things you didn't like because you're an ignorant fucking moron. And you hurt everyone around you in the process of participating in said toxic activities on the internet. And there goes the camera again. At this point, I don't think I'm going to get this camera to stay on at all. This is just, it will not stay on. And again, I didn't do anything different. It just doesn't want to work. Unbelievable. Luckily, soon we'll be doing the gameplay, so I won't need this camera at this point. Holy shit. Unbelievable. What is it, the fourth time? I mean, this is the worst it's ever been. So who knows what's causing it? No idea. Maybe what it is, I just got to maybe do a restart on my computer because I haven't done one in a bit. So maybe a restart on the computer would make this more stable. It's possible. It's very possible that a computer restart could make this better, but I don't know if that's the solution or not. And maybe I'll try it tonight because obviously I'm about to start playing gameplay, so I'm not going to do it now. But I have no fucking clue what's going on. Why it keeps doing this. Okay. See, Chomps, and here's the thing. Here's Chomps, all right? And this is probably where we'll end it because at this point we've gone really long talking about this, right? He goes, how long are you going to continue to watch all of your peers do better than you, surpass you, and even retire around you while you're still here struggling? Okay, I need to explain something to you. All right, this is going to be very important. I want everyone out there to listen to me. I have no peers. I am a man on a fucking island. Since the day I turned on my camera and pointed it at my TV and started doing the improv commentary, I did it different. I did it my way, and I never copied anyone else. I only ever wanted to be me. I never aspired to success. I never wanted to do this for a job. This all just happened. And now here we are almost 17 years later, and you say, but all these other people did it bigger and better than you. Yeah, because they didn't do what I did. They came into it with the mentality of let's get famous, let's get rich, let's do this, let's get the bag. I don't care. Get it? I don't care. All I want to do is make the content that's meaningful to me and my viewers. And if I can make a living doing it, great, but I'm not aspiring to be the biggest shill sellout to make tons of money, the biggest hateful drama content creator on the internet who everyone is the big dog and looks up to, like Medicare, right? I'm not looking to be any of that. Maybe I could be if I tried, but I don't care. It's hard to try to do something that you don't have passion for. I don't have passion for that shit. I don't. I'm sorry. I got a 420 tit. Boo, Phil is boring and sucks. How can anyone watch him? A detractor, as they're watching your daily restream and video about you the second it's uploaded and end the night on a Discord chatting about you until they fall asleep. Yeah. But again, it's not about them, right? It's not about turning the camera back on them, their mental illness. It's about still making fun of me somehow in 2025. It was pretty telling when I had my interview with June the King, all right? And we were talking about all of this, and I said, wouldn't it be fascinating? Wouldn't it be fascinating if someone turned the cameras back on the detractors? If someone actually went out of their way and said, yeah, this guy has been, ripped a new butthole for the last 10, 15 years, but what about the people who obsess about him? Let's learn about them. Because wouldn't it be more interesting to see what kind of a person just does this 24/7 and has no life? And June said, well, no, not really. But why did he say not really? Because it wouldn't be viable. There's too many of them. There's not enough there. You know what that says? It's too hard. That's what I heard, because it's too hard. It's easy to go on the one person who everyone focuses on and streams every day. It's too hard to figure out who all these fucking no-load losers are on the internet who are harassing the guy every day. That's too much work. Instead, the easy mode is to just research all this shit that's already on the internet and put it together into a documentary. Right? It's ridiculous. I really think that would actually be the golden nugget that no one wants to grab because it's too hard. Instead of making the 7,000th documentary on Darkside Phil, why not do the documentary on the people who literally obsess about him 24/7? Right? Sure, I understand that it's easy to make the fun of me, but man, the person who goes the extra mile, that would be the meaningful thing that's very different. It would be. Of course, insane detractors have been outed in the past. You're right. You're absolutely right. So that's what I mean. Like, can you imagine if the rest of them were sniffed out? If these morons who literally are just making this stuff constantly actually were exposed for these weirdo obsessed losers that they are, you know? But no one wants to do that because that's tough. That's the hard work. Man, let's go for the low hanging fruits, right? All right. Anyway, we've now gone super late, and I do want to do at least a couple hours of Pirate Yakuza today. All right. So let's end the podcast. I fully expected, coming off of the last couple of days, that this show was going to go crazy, and it did, admittedly. All right. So I will say this. Thank you all. Take a look. So far today, not once did I ask for any contributions whatsoever. All right. All I did was speak from the heart honestly about everything that's been going on recently. And we are at what? Like $90 of support? I don't even know. I haven't been tracking. Yeah. We're already 2/3 to the goal, and I haven't asked for anything. All right. So I can just leave it at that, and we can play Pirate Yakuza, all right, and enjoy it for the next 2.5 hours, and just leave it at that. Or we can get our first sub of the day because no one on Kick has become a sub whatsoever. I don't know what's going on over on Kick recently. Let's get some subs. Let's get some tips. Let's get a super chat. How about some gifted memberships, of which we got none today? Let's hit the goddamn goal because we want to get to 60. You want to see me stuff my bloated face with Girl Scout cookies. So cut the shit. Let's get it going right now. Let's get some support. What is happening? Let's do it. What are we waiting for? What are we dragging our feet for? Let's hit the goal right now. Then we can just play Pirate Yakuza and not have to worry about hitting any goals at all. Let's get our final contributions in. Hit that 150 right now. Let's do it. There we go. My screen screwed up. I had to refresh it. No, to be honest, I actually don't know what's happened over on Kick like this last week. Just take a look. You know, typically we're more than halfway through the week, and usually we get a bunch of subs and stuff. And it's been a slow week on Kick, so I don't know what happened over there, at all. The thing is with Kick, it's kind of like fluctuating, hit or miss. Like sometimes people will come by and be really supportive, and other times it'll be really slow. And this week, yeah, I mean, it's really been affecting stuff. So I'm hoping that we will get some more on Kick, but there's been entire days with nothing on Kick. There's been days with one sub on Kick, you know? There's not much I can really do about that. You will tip me $40 right now if I properly address Ashton berating my wife again. All right, you ready? Ashton is fucked up for ever bringing up my wife. He should never have her name in his mouth. And I've spoken with him about it. And if he continues to bring her up in his content, whether it's his show or mine, smart guys, I will no longer work with him. We've had it out. I talked to him about it. It's fucked up that he would ever bring her up. It's one thing if he brings me up and he wants to razz on me because he's helped me out tremendously. All right? My wife has nothing to do with him or his content. And I swear to God, if he fucking brings her up again in a negative way in his content, I will cut ties with that man. So there you go. I don't care about your $40 tip because I know you weren't going to send it anyway. I know you were full of shit. But it's about time that I said that because it needed to be said and everyone's been talking about it. Okay? They're not going to pay up. They were a troll. No one's going to pay $40 for me to say that, but it needed to be said. By the way, Worster says, I love the content, Phil. Thank you, Worster. I appreciate that. Yes, I've spoken with Ashton since Monday's Kino Casino. 100%. I've spoken with him about it, and I told him this is not acceptable. It's not right. It's messed up that he does that. And he knows how I feel. So it's one thing for him to bring me up, make fun of me. They've done a lot for me. Go ahead and make fun of me, say I'm a loser, whatever you want to do. I don't really give a fuck. I've got thick skin. But you don't bring my wife and family and other people into it to have no fucking involvement in any of this shit. Period. Okay? That's when you've gone over the line. Okay? Jasper's cleaning. He is. He's right there. All right. Are we done now? Where are you? I can hear you like you're right here. Like right next to me, but I don't see him. He must be behind the set. All right, are we good? Anything else? Because I want to get all this shit out of the way so we can play Pirate Yakuza. All right, now we can move forward. Can we, please? I guess we're done. All right. Well, it's been a hell of a show. All right. So tomorrow, obviously, we'll talk about how today went with gameplay and the like. Remember, today we're doing Pirate Yakuza and the Lego stream. I'm excited to see how the final Lego build goes tonight. And if we hit the goal and we continue to do Lego stuff, I'll look into the next Lego set, if it goes well tonight. And tomorrow should be fun. All right. I hope that you guys will join me for another Level 1 podcast. We still have 3 days left. I know we didn't even get to the schedule or anything. We still have today, tomorrow, and Friday full of content. And I hope that you all will join me for it. It should be a good time, my friends. All right? Thank you all very much. And I will see you tomorrow for another fun episode of the Level 1 podcast.